All right, let's talk about the perfect storm that's brewing over at Liverpool. On the surface, a recent win looks like a bit of good news, but honestly, it's being completely overshadowed by a superstar who might be walking out the door for good, a truly devastating injury crisis, and what feels like a real sense of panic heading into the transfer window. We're going to break down how all of this is hitting Anfield at the exact same time. So what we're looking at is this triple threat of problems, and they're all connected. You got a win that, frankly, was pretty deceptive. You have the potential end of an era for a club legend. And you have an injury list that is an absolute tactical nightmare. So let's start with the result that's hiding some really serious issues. So first up, a lucky win? The hollow victory over Brighton? Yeah, Liverpool got the 3 points they desperately needed against Brighton, a 2-0 win. But when you listen to the manager after the game, it tells a completely different story. It just felt hollow. I mean, a 2-0 win at Anfield, that should have been a huge moment of relief for Arne Slot, right? The guy's been under a ton of pressure for the team's shaky form. But, and this is a big but, that scoreline really doesn't tell you the whole story, not even close. And there you have it, straight from the manager's mouth. Arne Slot wasn't out there praising some tactical masterclass or a dominant performance. No, he basically came out and said his team got lucky. That is not what a manager says when they feel like they've turned a corner. That's what a manager says when they know they just barely scrape by. Now look, to be fair, there were some good things. Hugo Ekitike scoring 2 goals was huge, and a clean sheet for Konate was definitely needed. But the problem is, all of that was overshadowed by the fact that they were lucky, they looked short on ideas, and they paid a massive, massive price for the win. And that victory? It's what really kicks off a much, much bigger problem. The whole feeling about that lucky win just pales in comparison to the absolute drama around the club's biggest star, Mohamed Salah. As of today, he's officially off to the Africa Cup of Nations. But the feeling around Liverpool is that this might be a one-way ticket. The elephant isn't just in the room anymore. It's got its bags packed and 1 foot out the door. And things with Salah have just gone downhill. And fast. I mean, first you get this outspoken interview where he's criticizing the club. Then, bam, he's dropped for a massive Champions League game. He comes back for a bit part against Brighton, and now he's gone. Each step has just made the cracks in that relationship a little bit wider. So this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's dominating every headline, every podcast, every fan forum. There's this heavy feeling pushed by the media that we might have just seen him play in a Liverpool shirt at Anfield for the very last time. Why? Well, the contract talks are dead in the water. The January transfer window is right around the corner, and the idea of selling him now to avoid losing him for free, well, that's becoming frighteningly real. And look, when a club legend, a guy like Jamie Carragher, comes out and says something this blunt, you know it's serious. This isn't just a bit of speculation anymore. It suggests the damage might be too deep to fix. I mean, you've even got the captain, Virgil van Dijk, pretty much begging him to stay, saying he has no idea what's going to happen. This whole crisis is just playing out right in front of us. Okay, so remember when we said that win over Brighton came at a massive cost? Well, this is it. As if the whole Salah situation wasn't enough of a headache, that victory was what you'd call a Pyrrhic one. A win that costs you so much it almost feels like a loss. The squad is now looking dangerously thin, and at the worst possible time of the season. I mean, the medical room at Anfield must be overflowing right now. That one game against Brighton threw 2 more critical players onto an already long list. And while the other guys are concerned, it's these 2 new injuries that have really triggered a full-blown panic. Just look at how this all played out. It's like a comedy of errors, a domino effect. First, your starting right back, Joe Gomez, pulls up with a hamstring injury less than half an hour in. Slot said afterwards that muscle injuries are normally not positive. So you have to shuffle the deck. You move one of your best midfielders, Dominic Szoboszlai, to cover for him. And then what happens? Late in the game, he gets injured too. His ankle didn't look great. This isn't just bad luck. It's a chain reaction that has totally wiped out an entire position days before a huge game against Spurs. So is there any good news? Well, there's one tiny sliver of it. The young right back, Connor Bradley, is back from suspension. It's a timely return for sure, but let's be honest, this is a solution born out of pure desperation. You're basically throwing a young kid into the deep end for a massive game under incredible pressure. So where does all this leave Liverpool? You've got your superstar heading for the exit, and your squad is physically breaking down. Suddenly, the January transfer window looks totally different. This isn't an opportunity to add a player or two from a position of strength anymore. No, this has become a desperate, urgent scramble to just plug the gaping holes in a sinking ship. And with the squad in tatters, the club is being forced to look for answers in the transfer market. Two names from Crystal Palace keep popping up. The defender, Marc Guéhi, though now it looks like they'll have to fight off Man City for him, and Michael Olise, who pretty much everyone is pointing to as the ideal must-have replacement for Salah. The pressure to get a deal done for either of them is absolutely immense. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, it's not just about who might be coming in. The club is also losing talent from its very foundations. A highly rated 15-year-old from the academy, Kai Morrell, just confirmed he's leaving for Leeds. Now look, one youth player leaving isn't a crisis on its own, but it's a symbolic blow. It just adds to this feeling that the entire club, from the first team all the way down to the youth ranks, feels a little bit unsteady. So Liverpool is well and truly at a crossroads. You've got a win that didn't convince anyone, a superstar with his bags packed, and an injury crisis that is crippling the team. It's a moment of genuine peril. You have to think this next month could define not just this season, but the whole Arne Slot era. So what's it going to be? A January rescue mission? Or are we watching the start of a total collapse?